Hi.
Hey, Patsy Weber.
You're ridiculous.
I saw all your plants in pots.
I did. I used the white pot that we found in the dumpster when we went dumpster diving.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. Garbage and plants
Garbage.
and
I've
plants.
been waiting to use it.
What?
What? I've been waiting to use it. It's just been sitting there. And then I sent a picture to my dad and I'm like, me and Tenny found that dumpster diving. And he's like, LOL.
Did you ever watch Happy Days?
Yes.
So
No,
you know
I'm an
who
alien.
you know who Patsy Weber is.
Yes.
But you know who Leather Tuscadero is?
Yes.
I think that you should be Patsy Tuscadero.
Stop. You be Flossie and I'll be leather. I'm already leather Tuscadero.
That's what I mean, though. You're a cross because of the plants. You're Patsy because you put things in pots,
God.
and you're Leather Tuscadero because you wear your faux leather. So you're Patsy
Yeah.
Patsy Tuscadero.
You are on drugs today.
I'm drinking.
I'm drunk.
You are?
I'm, I have to be right now.
What do you go juice?
No. I had a couple shots of Fireball and
Oh
I'm
shit.
drink and I'm drinking vodka with strawberry lemonade, Gatorade.
Jeez, that fireball.
No. No. I had to go. I was drinking coffee and I'm like, I need to go from like 0 to 100 right now. So I hit the shots.
Shots,
Um,
shots, shots.
shots. Um, so I'm gonna talk about some shit that sucks hard. I'm glad that this is like the end of May. May has been the worst month of my life, literally. Um, I want to thank Adam for filling in for me. Um, he didn't have to do that, and it was, I don't know, it was really nice. But um, I don't even know how to talk about this. I'm just gonna talk about it. I'm drunk and I'm whatever. It has to be talked about because I've been hiding. I've been ignoring all of my friends, all of my DMs, all of my posts, all of my texts. But anyway, so April 22nd, I took Bean to the vet and he out of nowhere got diagnosed with metastatic lung cancer. Um, it was the worst day ever, and I canceled all my work. I canceled all my appointments, and I said that I would. I didn't care if it lasted, however long it took. If it took 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, whatever, I was gonna not work forever. Um, fuck. Um, so he lasted 2.5 weeks, and we spent every second together. And he passed on May 9th, on Mother's Day of all fucking days. So I've been hiding and not posting anything, and I've been starting to get DMs about where's Bean and is he okay and are you okay? And I'm not okay. Really, I've never been so not okay in my life. Um, so yeah, it's just I've been telling you that I don't feel like my heart's broken. It's just gone. I feel like there's just a vacant hole in my chest. And he was 8 days shy of 14. He obviously lived the most perfect life, and I'm kind of glad it was fast because I didn't have to see him wither away. And when the lady came to put him down, he even barked at the lady and just played, and he ate a bunch of ice cream, and he was still himself. But the night before I decided to do it, he couldn't get air in his lungs. He was still walking, he was still eating completely, he was still going outside. Um, but he couldn't get air in his lungs. He woke up all throughout the night and just looked at me like I can't breathe. And I had to do it. Um, and I've never put anything down before. So I had to do it, and I held him the whole time, and it was really surreal and crazy. And then I held him for like a half an hour after, And it was the worst. And now my house is empty and not fun, and I just don't laugh anymore, and it sucks, and everything sucks. And I'm sorry if I've been absent. And like, I've been hanging out with you so much because I mean, not that we don't hang out all the time, but I haven't, it just feels disgusting to be home. Um, so I'm just really lucky to have you. And I mean, for a few days after, I Googled how to fucking kill myself in a peaceful way. Like, I had a plan, and I'm like, I can't do this to Tenny. And it's just awful. May's been the worst month ever. And Adam stepped in for me, and yeah, I just wanted to say thank you, and I'm not good, and I'm sorry if I've been absent, and I don't know. I don't know. It's just a lot. Everything sucks. I'm
It
sorry I
hasn't.
made you cry.
It hasn't. It hasn't been a great year.
It hasn't been a great year. Me and you got fucking, you lost your mom and I lost Bean within months. And we both like did the exact same thing for each other. Like, I went with you to pick up your mom's ashes. And now I'm sitting on the couch next to Bean's ashes, and it's bad. This is bad. I'm sorry. I
I
really
think
didn't
it.
think I was gonna cry.
I, you have.
I
I'm
mean, it's
laughing.
bad. I thought I was gonna keep it together, and ugh.
For as
But yeah.
dark as this sounds, I think it's funny that without talking to each other, we were both going to kill ourselves and both didn't because of how fucked up it would make the other one of us.
I know. I swear to you right now, I'm like, I don't know when it happened, but at some point we made this like unspoken promise to each other. We're like our support system, and I couldn't do that, and I wouldn't want you to do that to me either. So it's just been shitty.
Take all that emotion that you have right now
mm,
and uh, take all that emotion you're feeling
mhm.
and rip into an iTunes review.
Oh my god. Some fucking asshole on our iTunes reviews like ruined our rating because they were like, what did they fucking say? They said
They
like
were they were
they
unhappy with Adam being on the episode.
yeah, they said like, I'm unhappy with the interruption. Like, oh sorry, my best fucking friend and left arm of a dog died. Sorry I needed a week to get over it, you fucking mutant. God. Like, just honestly, next time, anybody who hears this, next time you're online, next time you're fucking whatever, texting somebody, writing on Instagram, making a comment, why don't you think about the fact that somebody's just think in your head, if this person's mom, grandma, dog, anybody died today, would I say this to their fucking face? And if the answer is no, don't fucking type it. Oh, fucking stupid. So I'm not doing good. I've only told a couple friends I'm gonna fucking post tomorrow about it, and everybody I know is gonna just crumble. It's just, I don't know what to say.
Are you going to post about it tomorrow or are you going to post when I post this episode?
I think I'm gonna do it tomorrow because I have to work on Wednesday, and I don't want to field all this bullshit all while I'm at work.
Well, you and I both did the same thing, right? Like, I understand that people want to say that they're sorry and give me their thoughts and prayers and condolences. And I don't know how
Yeah,
this ever sounds. I mean, I said it to you and you've said certain things that are similar to me, but like, I don't really want it.
I know exactly the same. I don't like literally. Obviously, people are gonna say stuff to me, and I appreciate that, but literally, not one fucking solitary thing that somebody could say to me is gonna make me feel better. Um, I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, it's same. Like, I
Yeah,
appreciate it and I'm glad that people have care in their heart for me, but
Yeah.
when that hole inside of you is so deep,
Yeah.
it like it just I I don't know. I just couldn't deal with it, which is why I didn't really say anything for a few days when my mom passed. Like I
Yeah.
didn't want I didn't want sparkle gifts saying like
No.
sorry
No.
with a teddy bear underneath it.
I know. Nothing's gonna work. Like nothing. Like I had some friends stop by obviously and like leave food for me. Like that really helped because it's like when you're in like the deepest grief and you obviously you don't eat for most of it and then like you'll have this like hour where you're like okay I could eat and if it's not just fucking there you won't eat. Like I couldn't cook, I couldn't think, I still fucking can't. Like I just so the fact that people like looked out for me like pro tip, if anybody you know is ever going through the worst shit of their life, don't give them flowers, give them fucking food. They don't need flowers. They need to not cook and not think. Like give them fucking dinner.
Take snacks, put them on their front
Yeah.
porch, knock on the door, and run away.
Yes, honestly, that's what honestly, like I've always seen that too in old movies where like somebody's a widow and they bring her all this food and I'm like, why the fuck would you want food? And now I'm like, I get it because you just can't
And in
take
those
care of
old
your fucking self.
like in those old movies, you're absolutely right. I never thought about that before. And maybe of course it's idealized because we're seeing it through the lens of movies and whatever. But in those old movies, someone dies and then people come over the house with a basket full of food and they just hand it to the person
Yes.
and then walk away.
Yes, I've never gotten it until now. I'm like, oh, now I get it.
I also
Because
feel like too maybe that movie idealized old timey idea of like walking around with a black armband on so people know to like don't fuck with me right now.
yes, I wish
Like
I fucking had that.
I'm going through some shit, so just leave me alone.
I know I've ignored so many DMs this week because literally it's like second nature. Like, and I like it. Like people go, how are you? How's Bean? It's like the second or first fucking question. And all of my DMs this week have been, and tweets, and like, they always bring him up. And I'm like, I know. And just for the last few weeks, I'm like, I want to answer, but he's not here. And I don't know what the fuck to say. So I'm sorry if I've ignored anybody, but I don't. And it's like, I don't want to feel like telling the fucking story either 100 times, 200 times. You know how many people we know? And I'm like, I can't talk about how my dog died of cancer in fucking 5 seconds every day. I'm still like trying to stay alive right now. Um, but I'm going to try to move away from some sad stuff. I want to get into like, there was weird fucking synchronicities and they continue to happen. Obviously I've been talking about I don't know if I told you this, but no, I did. Sorry. Anyway, but so I've been going on about 90210 for the last million weeks.
Have you really?
It was just
I had no idea.
fuck up, dollar store. Um, so so listen, this explains it because I swear that whole time he was sick and I didn't want to think, I didn't want to pay attention, I didn't want to figure out a fucking plot. It was the perfect cozy show to like not think. I didn't want commercials. I didn't want 1 second of thinking about real life. It just kept going in one episode after another, after another, after another. So listen, that was the drinking game that somebody brought up on Twitter. I said, listen. Anyway, I was on.
Listen.
Listen. So by the time it was like, okay, when it was happening, it was like I was in like season 9, I feel like. So the night before, when he was sneezing up blood towards the end. And the night before, the last fucking episode that I watched was called Dog's Best Friend. And then the day that I woke up and what would have been the first episode that I watched when the lady was coming to put him down was called Agony. Like, there's fucking 300 episodes. How did they fall like that on the day before and the day of? So that was fucking weird. And then, I don't think I told you this part. Literally the last episode to ever air of 90210 aired on May 17th, which is fucking Bean's birthday, not even lying, aired on May 17th. And then get this. So 5 days after he passed, I made an appointment with a tattooer friend of mine. And this is controversial and I don't recommend that anybody does it, but I wanted to put his ashes in the ink. So he was always with me. So I asked my friend, and he had never done it for anybody before. And he said he would do it for me because I'm a tattooer and I get it. And I fully, obviously, like said, if anything fucked up happens, if it gets infected, I'm not going to blame it on you. So anyway, so he said he would do it. So he's tattooing me, and I put his birth date on one of the tattoos, and it says 5/17. And he's like, "Wait, 5/17?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "That's my tattoo anniversary. I started being a tattooer 11 years ago on 5/17." So it just kept happening, like that whole week. There's everything, and I swear there's like 3 other things that I'm forgetting, but it kept happening, and it's just wild. And I keep forgetting. I'll get out of the shower and think he's going to be in the living room. He's not there. I literally keep forgetting. I'll wake up and forget. It's just the worst. 14 years is a long fucking time.
It's a long time.
I know.
And ghost farts.
I know. I know I told you about that. But like, I've obviously been looking for symbols and signs, and I haven't seen him yet, which is surprising to me. I haven't seen any apparitions or seen him, but
it took me a year to see Charlie.
Okay, that's like that like makes me feel better, because I thought it would happen by now. Because when my childhood dog died, I feel like I saw him like a week after in the hallway. And the fact that I haven't seen Bean yet has been bumming me out. But yeah, like it would have been Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, like 4 days after he passed. I swear I heard him fart in the bed. I did. It was like it was very distinct, and he would always do that in the morning. Like he would roll over, he would start to wake up, and he would do it, and I'd be like, "Gassy monkey!" Like I would say it out loud. And I swear I was waking up the 4 days after he passed, and it happened, and I was like, "Oh my God!" Like, of course, the first thing of him reaching out is going to be like a French bulldog ghost fart. I think that's the title of this episode. Oh my God. Oh, so stupid. So yeah, so anyway. So the last part of the story is for anybody who doesn't know, Bean was a tripod. He had, for the last 2 years of his life, he had 3 legs. He had 4 legs most of his life, but he had a big like growth on his back leg that had grown back 3 times that was like cancerous, maybe, whatever. So we had to take his leg off 2 years ago, and that was really hard. And you came with me to that, or I would have died.
Well, the other thing is too, and I think that this is an important point, which was when he got diagnosed with that growth on his leg, like there were 2 options.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
There was, you can put him down,
yep,
or we can try this surgery and remove the whole leg.
Yeah. And obviously I had met with one specialist, and he was fucking awful, and he wanted me to do chemo and all this shit, and I said absolutely not. Then another guy was suggested to me who was in Flint, and I went there, and the consult was amazing. He was like, "He's spunky, he's crazy, he's still going to be able to get around. Let's just do it." He's like, I think it's fine. And then I'm like, "Great." So he goes to leave the room, and I go, "Well, there's one more thing." And I'm like, he's like, "What?" I go, "Well, I want to take the beginning steps to clone him." And he's like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah." So I bring up the website. I'm like, basically you have to take a tissue sample while he's under, and then they overnight it to this company in Texas, and then you split off his DNA or whatever, and then they freeze it. And it was the Barbara Streisand used the same company. She cloned her dogs. And I'm like, while he's going to be under, it's like, I guess at that point I wasn't like, okay, 100% sure I would do it, but I'm like, what if I won $50 million tomorrow? What would I want? I don't want a boat. I don't want a fucking mansion. I don't want a Ferrari. I would want my dog back. You know what I mean? So I did that. And but that was the thing. I was like, what if this doctor's religious? What if he's like, "I'm absolutely not doing that. It's not natural, and I'm not fucking doing it." So he goes out of the room, and he looks at the website, and he comes back in, and he's like, "You know what? I'm going to do it." And he's like, "And I'm not even going to charge you extra, because if you end up doing it, I really want to, I think it would be cool to be involved." And I was like, "Great." So, and they were already, when they took his leg off, they were taking off another growth on his other side of his body. So it was a lot. I'm like, okay, so he has to do the leg, the growth, and this fucking cloning thing. I'm like asking a lot. So he could have said no. But he did it. And then you have to literally, they send you this like cooler in the mail, basically, like picture when somebody has a heart transplant. Um, so I had to give them that. And then he's like, I'll have my assistant like handle all that. So we had to put it in this thing, call FedEx, overnight it. So a lot can go wrong. But it got to the facility, it worked, and then they freeze it in 2 different locations so that if the power ever goes out at one, you still have your sample. So his DNA is on ice in Texas, and starting obviously right when it happened, my new objective is to save up money to get Bean 2.0. So that's where I'm at, right? And I know full well it's not him, and it might have a different soul, and it might have a different whatever. I get that, but it's like
Well,
enough of him.
we had enough. We had that big discussion because of Liam cloning his
Yes,
cats. And so you have
yes,
thought this through. You've heard the
yes,
arguments. You know the whole
yes,
thing. You are a smart person. You know
yes,
everything about it. You and I have talked
yes,
about the metaphysical aspects of it. Like, this is what you
yes.
want to do.
Yes, yeah, 100%. And I read a bunch of reviews of other people that have done it on the website, and they're like, some people are like, literally has the same likes and dislikes, favors the same toys, sounds the same, smells the same, barks the same. So that's like really encouraging. I mean, I know that every spirit is different, and it might not be him, but it'll be, even if it's like half of him, a quarter of him, it'll make me fucking feel better. So,
I
um,
mean, the thing that I was thinking about, like, I don't even know if you would be doing it if Bean had a puppy.
Yeah, that I know. I was looking through my old emails the other day, old, and I still have the contact information for the people I got him from. So I was like, do they have his fucking lineage? But I haven't
But I,
contacted them.
but I mean, if Bean had a puppy, you still be doing this? Like, if you had a baby Bean, if he had gotten another
No.
dog, no, because you'd still
Well, he
have a
was
part,
first when he was like 8 months old.
right? But I mean, you would have a part of
So
Bean. It would be his baby.
yeah, yeah, that's what I mean. So, and I obviously I'm not. I don't have any plans to have kids. I'm not gonna have kids. Like he was my child. So I feel like I just want part of my kid back, or like to have another. You know what I mean? I don't know. His bloodline, his same thing, and
The other thing is
um,
too is that dog. I have no like. Bean was not a normal dog.
no, he wasn't. He was a
For,
old. He was a little man.
when he came back, first of all, when he came back from having his leg removed,
Hmm.
you and I were in more trauma than he was.
I know that was hard.
It was hard. And then like his recovery, I've said this to you multiple times. Like, he fucking came to life with that third
I
leg.
know. I know. I know. He was. I swear, he was so crazy the last couple of years. Like it was like a
He went
new.
from snoozing to Stevel Knievel like
Yes, he
crazy.
was. I know. He jumped out of the stroller like a maniac. I know. I swear he went up the back steps a week after a surgery, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? He did not care. I
Well, I
know.
remember
He
when
was,
your dad built the steps for the couch and we were trying to get him to go up the steps.
yeah.
And you were even like, I don't know if he's ever going to get this. And then literally,
Hmm.
like, I think it was like a week later, he was going
Yeah.
up the back steps of the house to go pee
Yes. I know.
and tearing up
He,
it like a madman.
I know. I know. He's just the best. And I know, obviously, I would have wanted a million more years with him, but it was like, and I've been posting, I mean, literally within the week before he passed, I was posting videos of him in my story, and they were all current. They weren't old. Like he was
Right.
still like that. He was still barking. And then if you notice in between the barks, he was like breathing really heavy, like his ribs were going in and out. That's how I knew. And it was just shitty. But yeah, so that's the goal right now. And then yeah, it's just sucked. It's just sucked. It sucked. Um, I don't know. Like Like literally my ultimate favorite thing to do ever is sit home with Bean and make our stupid videos and talk to him and sing him songs. And then I've never hated my own house, and I fucking hate my house right now. I've never heard such fucking awful quiet in my life. Ugh. So I've been, and obviously people have seen me like in my story or whatever on Twitter, and I've been out a little bit. Me and you went to the zoo. Like I've been fucking trying. Me and you went to the zoo on his birthday because I didn't want to be home because his birthday was 8 days after he passed, and I'm like, let me look at animals so I feel like I'm like with something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um, it's just been, but and yeah, I don't know. I've still been bringing his ashes to bed with me. I'm like a mess. I'm like, um, and this is crazy too. Like 6 months ago or so, it was a pandemic, and I'm like the worst over worrier ever. I don't even know if I'm depressed, clinically depressed, but
Are you talking to me? You're calling yourself
yes.
the worst warrior?
Well, listen, I know that. No, like over the last couple of years, it's built so bad, and I'm just like, all day long, I just worry about the dumbest shit. Like I'll get in my car and I'll be like, I'm gonna get in a car crash. I'm not gonna be able to get home to Bean. I'm gonna be in the hospital. A tree's gonna fall on my house. Just all day long, my brain is like worrying about stupid fucking shit. So like 6 months ago, 6, 7, 8, I don't know. Time has no meaning. I went to the doctor and I said, I need to go back on antidepressants. I was on when I was younger, and I remember it being just the best because I could actually process shit. Um, so I went to the doctor and I'm like, my dog's getting older. I'm an over worrier. And I looked her straight in the face. I'm like, I was like, just serious as fuck. I'm like, I'm not crazy. I fucking own a business. I own a house. I'm fucking on the level. If anything happens to this dog, I'm going to kill myself. And I'm not even joking right now. And she's like, okay. And like with our hospital system that we have, they save all this shit in the computer and you can look it up after in your chart. And she like literally wrote down, thinks she will kill herself with the dog. I'm like, God damn it. So I know. So it's all in there. So anyway, so she put me on the antidepressants. And I swear to you, obviously, like I would be in real trouble the last few weeks if it wasn't like I just feel very blank, which is better than the alternative. You know what I mean? So and I haven't seen her again yet. So next time I see the doctor, I'm just gonna be like, I hope you know that you literally saved my life. Like,
Yeah.
thank you for actually listening when I talked. Because some doctors wouldn't, or they would be like, oh no, you're crazy, or you don't need these meds. Like she listened and it worked. And it was hard enough like this. If I wasn't on meds, I would be not good. I would be jumping off a bridge. Not even kidding. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I think when I reflect back, one of the things that I think about is like we were like going to the zoo and kind of getting out of the house and stuff.
Mhm.
And then
Mhm.
I think to myself like what a good thing that is.
Yeah.
And then I think about how much better you are than I was because I didn't start doing that stuff until Bean had died. I had really, I mean, closed myself off after my mom died. Like I didn't do anything. You know that. Like I wasn't riding my bike, I wasn't going to the dollar store, I wasn't doing anything.
I know.
Like
I know. I
because
actually, yeah.
yeah,
Go ahead.
because I wasn't like you said at the beginning, like I wasn't heartbroken, I was empty.
Yep. Yeah. There's just like, and I said that to you too. I remember, because I honestly have never had a great loss before. Like, both my parents are still alive. Um, I've lost both of my grandpas, but they were like, it was like one was when I was a little bit younger and I was out of state, and then the other one happened and he lived out of state. So it's like I didn't go to the funerals, I didn't see it all. This is the first thing that's fucked me up really, really bad. And I remember you, and that was the thing too, as I said to you, because you went through this for so long. You watched over your mom for 2 years in your own house and you watched her fucking deteriorate. And it became, I know you. I literally knew you before that. I know you probably better than anybody. And you were not the same anymore. And I was really fucking worried for you. And I tried to get you out of your house, right? And it was towards the end. We went on our road trip to New York, and I didn't know what the fuck to do for you. I just wanted you to get away or decompress or not worry about it for the day, or like see you smile again, because that was awful and I was worried about you. And then as soon as this happened to me, I like told you, I was like, I fucking get it now. And if I pushed it by making you do things that you didn't want to do, I'm sorry. I was doing my best, and I was doing what I thought was right, but if it wasn't right, then I apologize.
Yes, you said that. And what I have to recognize now is that you doing that, which at the time to me seemed maybe this is too much, but I have to do it. Right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if Jess thinks like I need to go, maybe I do need to go, even if I don't think I need to go.
Yeah.
And I realize that I do a similar thing with you, which is, but I don't do it in a way of saying like, let's go on a road trip. I do it by annoyingly calling you at like 1 o'clock in the morning and being like, oh, by the way,
and it works too. If you didn't do it,
why don't we record at 1 in the morning when we're drunk and funny instead of when we're sober?
No. But it's because me and you are the same, and if we don't do that, we literally won't speak and we will shut down on ourselves. Like we both tear each other away from like shutting down.
Right.
Right.
And
right.
we have Grax to talk about.
We have birds to like discuss, and like I can't let too much bird news and squirrel news go by without telling you. Yeah. So yeah. But we're gonna do things. We're gonna travel. I'll probably bring his ashes in the car because I don't know what the fuck to do. Um, yeah, but yeah, and then this is side note. Like 6 days after he died, I got sued for $13,000.
It's like
Oh my
literally,
God.
it's not, but it is like
It's not.
the analogy is you're walking down the street and you slip in shit, and
Yes.
as you slip in shit, you go, I can't believe I slipped, and then you fall and your face goes in shit.
God. May has been such a shit show. I swear to God. I was like, are you joking?
Listen.
Like, listen. And then, like a week after that, like my favorite UFC fighter retired. I'm like, I hate May. May sucks. And it's it's over. It's pretty much over.
It's pretty much over.
So,
It is
yeah.
over, isn't it? It's the 31st.
It is. Yeah. Yeah, I've been waiting. I've been waiting for it to be fucking over. So yeah, that was really hard. But yeah, so if anybody comes to Paracon, don't bring me fucking dog treats or I will shrivel up and die. Um, just yeah. I just need everybody to know now. Like not walking in with him is going to be super brutal. But we're working on being 2.0. We're going to get it. Everything's going to be fine. And aside from that, not even because of this, but we've been talking about it and we're going to start a Patreon, right?
Yes, we'll be starting a Patreon this month.
Yes.
I have to go through my Patreon that I have for myself, and I'm redoing all of the tiers. And I think I'll probably do an announcement this week, like a Zoom meetup with all my Patreons. And then after I get that all straight, I'll start a Patreon for this one.
Yeah, we're going to do like, because we were doing events before the pandy where people could come and talk about witchcraft and ghosts and whatever. So we're going to have like, well, we're going to do extra shows.
Well, the thing is we were doing John and Jess events at Stash.
Yes.
Which we will continue to do.
Yes. We could probably start soon, right?
Yeah, probably pretty soon. But
Yeah.
then we are also going to do live versions of What's Up Weirdo.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. We'll do like stage versions.
Yeah,
And then anybody who's like a higher tier Patreon gets to come to those for free.
right.
Um, I thought of another thing today too, where if we do like for the people that are the level that you get extra shows, I was thinking me and you like just independently could film like cribs and like show parts of our house and our neat little shit that people don't get to see.
No!
Okay, I want to show people my shit, so I'll
Well, you
make
do
my own.
your own fucking cribs.
Fine. I'll show people my shit.
I'll go to people's houses and pretend to punch them in the belly.
You're how much is that tier gonna be?
It'd be pretty funny.
You would too.
Just randomly show up at people's houses and they're like, "Oh, John, what are you doing here?" And then, "Oh,
Oh, what's up, weirdo? Go!
and then run away. That's it. That's the whole thing.
That's your Patreon tier. Gotcha.
It paid for my plane ticket to get to your house.
Oh my God. What if we did a lottery who everybody was in a certain tier and we just literally show up in their state?
Oh, that would be fun.
That would be fun. It'd be like Publishers Clearinghouse.
Jesus Christ.
We just show up.
Do
You won.
know, listen, since you brought it up and we're talking about this stuff, do you know how many fucking years my mother played Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstakes?
Oh my God, I did. I feel like
she was going to win $1 million and meet Ed McMahon.
That's fucked. There's so many bad schemes, dude. That's so shitty.
That's a scheme and a half.
I know.
I still, to this day, to last week, I have magazines coming to my house because my mother bought magazine subscription from Publishers Clearinghouse.
Oh my God, stop them.
Good Housekeeping.
Fucking Reader's Digest.
Women,
Were you in Reader's Digest? P.S.
I think I was in Reader's Digest, yeah.
I think you were.
Yeah,
I
I
think
was.
you were.
Yeah, they asked me about haunted houses.
I know.
My two
Can we talk about
accomplishments, Reader's Digest and the National Enquirer.
No, that's the big, literally, that's like top tier. You were in the National Enquirer. Wait, can you talk about how you were interviewed by the Free Press this week?
I mean, I got interviewed by the Detroit Free Press because they're doing an audio podcast series about well-known Detroit people, and not that I am well-known, but I knew. But
they're going to interview me about you someday.
What a slam! He's like, we want to talk to you, but not about you.
Not about you.
Because I was friends with Marion Kukolo, who was Gundella, the Witch of Detroit, and that was super strange because the person from the Free Press showed up and he was like, I've been vaccinated. Have you been vaccinated? We're being real careful, whatever. And I was like, yeah. And so he pulled up in his car. He was unloading his stuff and he walked up on the back deck of my house and just instinctively, as if the quarantine and pandemic had never happened, I was like, hi, I'm John. He was like, hi, introduced himself. And we shook hands. And then we stood there for a second. We were like, oh. Were we supposed to shake hands? And he's like, yeah,
there's no plastic in between our hands.
He's like, I think it's okay, right? And I was like, yeah, that's really weird. And he's like, yeah, I haven't shaken a stranger's hand in 1.5 years. And I was like, neither have I. But it was fun. We talked for like an hour. I don't know when the podcast will be out because they have a whole bunch of people that they're doing along the lines of handshaking. I was talking to my sister today and I told her that I was like, he came over and we shook hands and I felt really weird. And my sister was like, no, she's like, you don't even know. She's like, today I was at the grocery store and I was walking across the parking lot and I saw a friend of mine and I knew that she was vaccinated and I was vaccinated. She goes, just because we talk, through emails and stuff like that. She's like, but I hadn't seen her in a long time. And my sister said, I instinctively hugged her.
Yeah.
And then my sister pulled back and was like, oh my God, I'm sorry. Am I supposed to hug you? And her friend was like, it was fine. It felt so nice.
Yeah. I know. I was just thinking that the other day about going to Paracon. I'm like, wait, we're going to hug people and you're going to have to take photos with people and it's going to be weird.
Yeah.
And I was thinking that the other day too, because my clients who come, and especially ones that come from like far away, I usually hug them when they leave, and I haven't hugged any of my clients in so long. It sucks.
And think about the size of like conventions that we can go to, and like Paracon's a big one and stuff like that. But think of like we're gonna be, it'll be August, so not too far. I mean, less than a year away from like the skyrocketing pandemic of people dying. And you're gonna be at a
Yeah,
convention with a couple thousand people.
yeah,
And on top of that, because it's the convention and because it's a convention scene, random people are going to have sex with each other.
yes, they are.
Weird.
I know. I don't even remember what that's like.
I didn't remember what that was like since before the pandemic.
I don't want to talk about this.
Listen, I told you, you can attest to this. This is the biblical truth, and you can attest to this. I told you like 3 years before the pandemic, I needed to get laid.
Stop talking about this on here.
Oh.
I got laid right before the pandemic, but not since.
Stop talking about this on the podcast.
I do have a new crush though, but he lives 1,900 miles away, so I'll just fucking jump off a bridge. It's fine.
Just because you brought it up and I shared it with you,
Yeah.
because you brought up jumping off a bridge, I sent you a video clip today of a guy who jumped out of an airplane without a parachute. He jumped 4 miles up without a parachute and landed in a net. Did you watch that?
Yes, I did. That makes me want to barf. We have to fly in July, and I'm already nervous.
Don't be nervous about flying.
I already have the Xanax ready, dude. You're gonna have to like scoop me up and put me in a wheelbarrow.
Do you have a playlist put together so you can listen to it on the plane?
Oh, I hope I fall asleep.
Oh.
Or we're just gonna get hammed, like hammed up. Here. I haven't flown for like 6 years.
I've never been drunk on a flight.
Oh my God. I've never not been drunk on a flight.
No, I've never been drunk on a flight, and I'm just I'm just paralyzed and white knuckling the whole time.
That's me. Listen, one of the last flights I took, I flew to New York and we had to circle because there was a backup on the fucking tarmac. And they're like, some stupid old woman behind me says out loud, she goes, well, I hope we don't run out of fuel. And I'm like, how about you not plant that little seed in everybody around us, you fucking asshole? Who says that shit out loud?
Listen, listen.
You know you're doing it.
I know, that's 3 drinks in a shot, 4 in a row.
So many drinks.
So many drinks. I had to fly, this was in 2004, and it was the first time I had flown in like 5 years. And I got on the plane, and I was nervous because I had this 5-year break where I hadn't flown. And some things had happened in the period of time that I hadn't flown. This is 2004, and I haven't flown in 5 years. I get on the plane, I'm very nervous. I sit down next to a woman, and we get into the air. I am white knuckle gripping. I am trying to focus and meditate myself into a different realm of existence. And this woman says to me, I was supposed to fly on 9/11.
Yeah, so you're like Final Destination, bitch. Get off this fucking airplane. God, who says that?
I immediately was like, where are drinks? I need drinks. I can't handle this right now.
I have a similar story.
First of all, why is that the topic of conversation with a fucking stranger on a plane who you can obviously tell is uncomfortable being on a plane?
Yes, literally don't say certain buzzwords on an airplane, and that's like the first one. Don't say it. So literally right around 9/11 or after, or I don't remember. So I had to go.
Never forget.
Never forget. So I flew to New York or New Jersey, right? And I don't remember what happened, but it was like.
So you forgot?
Listen, no. So, God. So no, this was the worst flying experience I've ever had. So I went to, I don't know if I flew to like like JFK, and then it had to like fly me to Newark or whatever it was, or I flew to Newark and I had to go to JFK. I don't remember, but so for the first part of my flight was like a regular ass airplane, and then the second part, I got in the tiniest airplane you've ever seen in your life. Tiniest. It had like, I'm not even kidding. It was like Point Break. There was like 4 seats in it. It was me, 3 guys who were like weird, very like, I don't even know what their accent was, but it wasn't English. I literally could not tell you what their accent was, but none of them spoke English. So I'm just sitting there by myself. The one guy had a fucking stand-up bass case and nothing else, like a James Bond movie. Like, what is in there? What are you gonna pull out? It was just me and these weird guys and a fucking big stand-up bass case. And I'm like, oh, okay, nobody's ever gonna see me again. This is fine.
I was in JFK. I had filmed something. This is, I think, 2009, 2008, 2009, 2010, maybe. But I was flying back and I had a layover in JFK and I was waiting for my plane and they started canceling flights because of the snow. And I was like, shit, like now I'm not going to get home. I'm going to be here for another day. I'm going to have to get a hotel room. It's this whole big fucking thing, blah, blah, blah. So I'm literally all alone now in the airport. Everybody has gone to their hotels. I'm waiting for the like last flight to be canceled. They finally canceled the last flight. And I'm like, shit, well, I'm going to have to get a hotel room. And as I think that thought, the door to the tarmac opens and all of this snow blows in. And a pilot, like in full pilot suit, like walks over to the girl at the desk and starts talking. And they're looking around and they look at me and she kind of points at me. And she calls me over and I go, hey, what's going on? And she said, the pilots for the private plane for the Ford family, the plane has to be in Detroit tonight. And so they're taking it up. Do you want to fly on the private jet back to Detroit tonight?
What?
And I was like, yes. Yeah. Like, I want to get home. Yes. And the pilot looks at me and goes, it's going to be sketchy.
Oh!
And I said, I'm in my mind, I'm like, I just want to go home. I'm really tired. I'm like, I've just shot this television show. I've been on the road for a few days. I want to go home. So I'm like, yes. So I get in this plane. It's like you were just said. There are 6 seats in this private jet. I'm the only person in it. The pilot and the co-pilot are in the cockpit and they have the door is latched open so they can talk to me. And I can see what they're seeing through the front of the plane.
Oh.
We start going up. I have never been more fucking scared in my life. The plane was shaking and rattling and blowing so insane. I was like, this was a mistake. This is like a Richie Valens moment. Like, I should have never, ever done this. And luckily, like, they got up above it and then it was fine. Like, it was maybe 5 minutes of extreme terror and then everything was perfect. Then like we got past the storm and we were up above it and it was fine, and I landed and everything was great. But that first 5 minutes I was like, this is a fucking mistake. Like, why would anybody do this?
Why are we talking about this right before we have to fly? So dumb. I'm gonna switch gears. It was Jack Kevorkian's birthday, and then it's like his death day this week too.
Yes.
Yes. You knew him, and I didn't, and I'm very jealous.
Yeah, people, I mean, Jack was a very obviously controversial person. Mm-hmm. I met him before he started doing assisted suicides. I think his first assisted suicide was in like 88 or 89. And so I used to skip school and go to the Royal Oak Library, and he would be there reading because he used to live very close to the library. And he would suggest books for me to read. A lot of the times, strangely enough, a lot of the books that he had me read were like politically slanted because he was very much against like fascism and dictatorship and was very much about an individual's natural rights. What do you as a human being have the right to do with yourself?
Yeah.
Like, and that was, I think, the biggest lessons I ever took away from him. I mean, he was he introduced ideas into my head at a 15 or 16 years old that I think 15 or 16-year-olds probably glancingly think about, but to have someone knowledgeable and someone who was older who had thought through those ideas talk to you about them was very formative. like
Yeah.
like we talked a lot about like drug use, and he would say to me, why should anyone have control over your psychological state?
Yeah.
You should be making the decisions. If you want to be like the reason, and he would talk about like the reason things get regulated is under the guise of so you don't do harm to anyone else. Like you don't get drunk and drive your car and smash into someone.
Oh, yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
get high and then fall asleep and set someone the house on fire and a whole bunch of people die. He's like,
Yeah.
but that's a slippery slope because once you start telling people like you can't allow your mind to do certain things,
Hmm.
that leads to a slippery slope. And so it's very strange. When I posted a picture, the last picture of him and I on my Twitter, like some people were coming at me, and a lot of them were, I always found this really strange. A lot of them were like conservative and religious people because of
Hmm.
Jack's whole
Yeah.
assisted suicide. But the thing was, is like his idea was what conservatives always say they believe in, which is individuals' rights.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like you should be able to do this decision because you're an individual and you have natural rights.
Yeah.
And so it's always, but it's one of those things. If you're going to allow individuals to make choices, then that includes like a woman's choice to have an abortion.
Yeah.
And so then he'd be skewed on the side of a liberal when in actuality he was being super conservative and saying like no one should be able to tell you what to do,
Right.
which is very kind of libertarian-esque.
Yeah. I mean, there's nothing more like, okay, sometimes you consider yourself a kid or a teenager or a young adult or blah, blah, blah. It's like you're a full ass, grown ass fucking adult if you're 60, 70, 80. If you're good, then why would it be anybody's choice to like not let you cash out? Especially if you're in excruciating pain every day of your life.
Well, I mean, so that was when Jack's first assisted suicide, and looking at this through the lens of everything I've been through the past couple of years now. Jack's first assisted suicide was with a woman who was suffering from dementia and Alzheimer's.
Yes.
And she told him, there is no cure. I am not going to get better. I am only going to continue to slip into being not me and have to have people care about me for the rest of my life to the detriment of their life.
Yep.
And I don't want to put that on them, and that should be my decision.
Yeah. I'm sure you would, like, honestly, if he was still alive, you probably would have fucking, that would have been an option for you and your mom.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, my mom, I still wonder to myself, my mother was hid her symptoms so well.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know what her choice would have been. I know that at the end, like she wasn't her at all,
Yeah.
but like leading up to it, she, I'm sure, struggled to a great degree, and I'm sure it was very tiring to keep a part of herself around.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't know. I don't know what her decision would have been, but it that decision should have been hers to make.
Exactly. Yep. And I said that to you after being passed. I was like, again, I've never put anything down before. I thought it was going to be very, um, like, like a
Brutal.
horror movie. Like I thought,
Brutal.
yeah, like when you see somebody go through like an exorcism in a movie, I thought it was going to be like cracky and horrible and slow, and it was really nice. Like it was very peaceful. It was very calm. He was in the right place. He went to sleep, and it was very dignified. And I was like, if everybody could pass away like that would be a blessing. Like I could only hope to go that nicely.
Yeah, I think it's That's interesting too, because that, like, I've had this discussion, I think, with you and with other people too, my sister and my brother-in-law and stuff like that, and family members. After being through this experience that my mother went through, like, I don't want to die like that.
Really?
No, I always hear people say like they want to lay in bed and go to sleep and just that's it.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
best scenario is fully cognizant and fighting.
Fighting
I,
what?
fighting, not dying. I want to live as long as I can possibly live, and I want to struggle to live. So I mean, like, I know it's hard for me to explain, but like, I don't want to be kept on life support. I don't mean that. I mean,
No.
I cognitively want to be like somewhere standing up, flipping off the Grim Reaper, going, fuck you, come and get me. I will fucking fight you, you fucking bitch. Like that, like.
I mean, if it's going to happen to anybody, it would be you.
I mean, I honestly, in my brain, that's my, like, best case scenario is like some kind of fucking weird warrior, like with a sword. I don't know. Have you ever read Cyrano de Bergerac or seen Cyrano de Bergerac? That's where it comes from.
Okay.
At the end of Cyrano de Bergerac, he has suffered a head injury and he is dying.
Mm-hmm.
And he starts hallucinating that the Grim Reaper is coming toward him.
Mm-hmm.
And they start to like try and calm him down. And he
Mm-hmm.
pushes like the people who are trying to calm him down aside, and he draws his sword and he starts saying like, don't you see him? The Grim Reaper has come for me, the specter of death. I stand in front of the Grim Reaper with my sword drawn. And he like starts fighting in his mind what he thinks is death until he dies. And I guess that in my mind, that's my best case scenario. Like, I want to go out on my feet.
Yeah. Well, it's going to be like Legends of the Fall, and you're just going to fight a bear and you're going to die.
A bear is just going to carry me away to a magic world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like Timothy Treadwell,
Who's that?
the grizzly man.
Oh, shit. Well, that didn't end good.
No, that did not end good.
Oh, that did not end good. Well, this has been the biggest bummer ever. So let's say we leave it on the disgusting story that you told me the other day about Godzilla suits and sweat.
First of all, I'm going to probably buy those orthopedic walking shoes because I'm an old man.
Yeah, yeah, we'll do that. But that's not what we're talking about. I
No,
also bought
but
some zoo shoes.
I have some shit to talk about for a second.
I know.
So here's another
Go.
thing. Here's another thing I wanted to talk about real quick, which was
Okay.
I have some stuff to do around my house, but I realized
Yeah.
that I'm going into my 50th year this year. And so
Mm-hmm.
before I do it, you have to come over to my house just to be here. Because, like, today, I was fixing what I thought was the leak in my bedroom,
Mm-hmm.
and I was on the ladder up on the roof all by myself,
Mm-hmm.
and the wind started blowing and the ladder started clicking and moving around, and I realized I'm not young enough to do this by myself anymore. I need someone else here in case I fall off this ladder.
Yeah, I can spot you for sure.
Yeah, so that's one thing.
Okay. Okay.
Two things is I saw the rat today.
I told you I saw it on your back porch.
I saw him.
I know. It was little,
He's
but not
little.
great.
No, but I can tell he's living in my neighbor's backyard.
Oh. Well,
There's a
something's
little
out.
there's a little hole under the fence and he disappeared under it.
Yeah.
So that's a good that he's not living in my backyard or in my house.
Well, my dad said that they like birdseed. That's why it's coming.
Ah,
I know. That's why he said, listen, I got my dad a bird feeder for some holiday. I don't remember. And he put a, how do you say that cake thing that you got me?
Suet.
Thank you. He got one of those and put it in it. And I'm like, I'll get you some seed. And he's like, no, I'd rather have the cake because then the seeds don't fall and that brings rats. And I'm like, oh, so maybe you should get the cakes and not seeds.
I'm going to get the suet cakes then.
Yeah.
But then I can't throw peanuts to my squirrels.
Well, I don't fucking know. We have to.
Maybe it makes a difference if I put them up on the picnic table, the little squirrel picnic table.
Yeah, maybe.
All right, now what did
But
you
then
want
they
to
just
talk about?
those gorilla suit. What? I'm the gorilla. Godzilla suit where you said that where you said the person like sweats in it.
Yeah, when they first started making Godzilla movies, it was a full-bodied rubber suit that you had to zip a guy up into, and then eventually they realized they had to cut holes in the bottom of the feet because he was sweating so much. He was standing in like 1 or 2 inches of sweat in the suit.
Yeah, that's disgusting. That was like a fun fact that you told me this week.
Do your feet ever stink?
Ew, no, girls are perfect. Yes.
They do stink sometimes?
No.
Oh, mine stink sometimes. I think it's because
Ooh.
sometimes I go outside without socks on.
Yeah, I never wear socks.
And your feet don't stink?
I really thought we were gonna get this through this episode without you grossing everybody out, and guess what? Oh, guess what?
I'm not
Here
grossing
he
anybody out. I'm
is.
just talking about stinky feet, which is a normal human thing.
Okay, but
Also, okay, you want to talk about something that's not gross? How
sure.
about when you come over, you don't make 17 fucking dishes that I have to wash by hand? How's that for something to talk about? When
You
I'm
know
here
what?
by
You said you
myself,
liked it.
when I'm here by myself, I use a fork, a spoon, a bowl, and a glass. You come over, you get a glass of water, something to drink with alcohol, a cup of fucking
Old Town
coffee,
Roasting.
Old Town Roasting, doo-doo-doo-doo-doo.
Listen, I'm like Goldilocks. I just need all the things when I come into your house.
That's not Goldilocks.
I know, but I just whatever. It's kind of the same.
It, all right, that's all I got.
Okay, me too.
Bye, Goldilocks.
Bye, idiot.
Bye.